What's up, guys? It's GeoCoons. There's gonna be a stream tonight. We're gonna be playing some more Path of the Healer. But before I start the stream, I just wanna have a little chat. I've been out of commission for a couple days. Hurt my back. But I want to take this time to talk about something that's never really been talked about. And that would be my passion for gaming, because a lot of people don't seem to understand it. Like, gaming means a lot to me, not in a sense where I would give up my whole livelihood for it, or even my relationship or anything like that. I mean, like, it's a big part of who I am. It's a way of life, in a way. You know, a lot of people aren't going to understand this, but when I was growing up, I remember that Christmas morning as a kid. Just imagine little GeoCoons just waking up, coming downstairs. You see your mom and dad just excited to see your reaction, and all of a sudden you open up a box and you get one of these bad boys right here. Oh, this right here was the jam. Like, you had everything you wanted. You got your 2 controller ports and your on and reset. And we had the fucking channel 4 switch right there. Oh, and you were living the life right there. You got that mono. Yeah. I remember opening up my first Nintendo, and I had a handful of games that were given to me. My dad didn't have a lot of money, so he and some of the guys at his job, found some spots that were selling them dirt cheap because, at the time the gaming market wasn't as big as it is today. It was big, but not nearly on the level that it is today. Like, back then it was demonized almost if you were a gamer. In order to get a game, I would get games like this one, Karate Kid. It wasn't one of my first, but my first games were the first Ninja Turtles game, Super Mario Brothers, and Super Mario Brothers 3. But another game that really sets the tone, and this is kind of why I want to talk about it before I stream. Final Fantasy was a huge part of how I became so invested in role-playing games and role-playing in general. I remember booting that game up, and then I just heard that theme, that do-do-do-do-do-do-do. When I heard that, I knew I was ready for an adventure. And then, boom, I was hooked on strategy and all that. I didn't even know how to read that well. I learned to read from playing Legend of Zelda because I really wanted to know what was said, by the old man. And then come to find out years later, he doesn't say much other than, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. But yeah, gaming really set a perspective of me. It gave me a chance to experience fantasy and adventures that I probably would never experience in everyday life. And it also, helped me get through a lot of the bad times. Because, eventually, bad things happen in families. And when your mom works all the time and you have to pretty much watch yourself, we couldn't afford a babysitter, so this right here was my babysitter for a while. This guy kept me entertained. Granted, a lot of people would see that as bad parenting. Not me, honestly, because my mother loved me very much. She was willing to even get a Blockbuster. Well, not Blockbuster. At the time, when it came to the NES, we had the Farm Fresh rental place. We would go to Farm Fresh and rent games. And I would spend my whole weekend just playing whatever game they had. I didn't even care what it was. I would be like, oh man, fucking Rad Racer, Excite Bike, oh, look, they got the fucking Terminator, Like, granted, a lot of those games suck. Terminator sucked. But at the time, it was amazing. I remember playing Battletoads with my one friend who was my next door neighbor at the time, and we would spend the whole night trying to beat that game. And back then, we couldn't save the game, so we just leave it on and then turn the TV off. And then when we woke up, we kept going. Granted, we never did beat Battletoads back then because it was too hard, but just so everybody gets a perspective as to why gaming matters to me. It's not just about collectibles, posters, and all that. It reminds me of a simpler time. It reminds me of a happier time. I was a very lonely kid. As I got older, I made more friends, and no matter how many friends I got, gaming was always still there to help. Even today, we got online gaming. You can play with your friends from across the sea. It's amazing how far we've come. So, this is just kind of my way of saying, well, thanks for being there. But that's enough of my ranting. Let's go on with the path of the healer. See you guys there.